Hi, my name is Tiffany, and today's my first day posting a video on Booktube. So I thought a good way to get you all interested in me, to get you to understand me and my tastes, and just what I plan on reading for the rest of the year. I do a list of the next 10 books that I plan on picking up and reading. My goal on Goodreads this year was to read 52 books. I'm currently sitting at 42 books at the moment. So I thought, you know what, this would be a good way to introduce you to me, is to just give you the next 10 books I plan on reading to complete my goal. So without further ado, let's just get started. Leave a comment down below if you've read any of these, if which one you'd recommend I start with if you're really interested in me reading that one. And yeah, let's just go. The first book is one that I've actually already started. I'm on page 102, and it is Elantris, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, by Brandon Sanderson. You'll see on this list, there's a lot of fantasy. I'm a huge fantasy fan, and Brandon Sanderson's kind of the go-to fantasy author. I've read one book by him, Warbreaker. I read it 2 months ago and I really enjoyed it, so I decided to pick up another one and give it a go. So we'll start the list with this, and because this is the one that I am currently reading. And then next we have The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. I have no idea what this book is about, other than that it's a fantasy set in the Middle East, I believe. Never read any book set in the Middle East, so I thought this would be an interesting route to go. I have heard really good things about this. It's a little hefty, but I'm not afraid of big books as long as they're interesting. So let me know in the comments below how you guys like this one, since I know literally nothing about this one. And I didn't know anything about Elantris either before I started reading it. I just knew it was Brandon Sanderson, and I wanted to pick up another book by him. Continuing in the fantasy vein is The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. This is the first book in the Wheel of Time series. If you don't know, Wheel of Time series is this long series, 14 books, I believe. This is the first one. It is a completed series. Funnily enough, that has a Brandon Sanderson connection too, because the last 3 books in the series were written by Brandon Sanderson. As you can see, I have the whole collection up here. Well, no, I'm missing the 14th book, A Memory of Light, just because I haven't found it anywhere yet. But know nothing. Again, this is in a situation where I know nothing about this series other than that it's fantasy. The back tells you nothing either. The wheel of time turns, and ages come and pass. What was, what will be, and what is may yet fall under the shadow. Let the dragon ride again on the winds of time. And that's literally the description. And I looked literally the description on the back of every single one of these books in the series, and all 14 books. So I know nothing about this series, but I've heard amazing things about it. I'm a huge fantasy fan, so I thought I'd give it a try. I'm not afraid. Let's switch it up a little bit. As you can see, I'm a very big fantasy sci-fi fan as well. And one book that I've been wanting to read that I've heard a lot of good things about, and it's won a lot of awards, and it's a classic, is Old Man's War by John Scalzi. If I understand, this book is about how Earth's drafting system works backwards. Instead of drafting young men, they draft old men. That's how they live out their life. They serve their country at the end of their life, is in service in the military. Beyond that, I don't know anything about this book. If you can see, that's a theme with a lot of these books. I don't know anything about them. I've just heard good things about them, and I know they're in a genre that I like, and they seem, what I do know of them, the basic synopsis that I know, that I would enjoy them. So this is another one that, beyond, knowing that, I know nothing about it, but I am very interested, and it does have a lot of positive reviews, and it's won a lot of awards, so I'm very much interested in reading it. Like I said, I am a huge fantasy and sci-fi fan, but I do want to step out. I've been trying to step out of my genre more and reading more contemporary, reading nonfiction or just historical fiction. So I have The Female of the Species here by Mindy McGinnis. I know this is a contemporary, I believe, about like rape culture and what it means to be a woman and blah, 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 blah. It's like I said, this is completely outside of my normal genre. I wanted to give it a shot. Heard really good things about it, and I think this is relevant to me as a female, and it's relevant to the times, just to you know a little bit more about these sorts of things. So, and I really like this cover. I really like the color of it. So, yeah, that's on the list. And then next we have a classic, a sci-fi classic, I guess, and that's Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. This is about a man who one day wakes up as a giant bug and how he deals with that. Again, that's about all I know, but with this book being so short, that's really all I need to know. I don't want to know too much more because then I feel like I'll know the entire story. But yeah, I did want to give this a shot. This actually might be the next one I pick up just because it is so small. Get that total closer to where it needs to be, to 52. And then we have Brandon Sanderson on the list once again. This is actually the beginning of a series by him. This The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, and this is the first book in the Stormlight Archive. We're back in that situation where I know absolutely nothing about this book other than it's a sci-fi, and it's by Brandon Sanderson. I've read one book by him that I enjoyed. I'm in the middle of enjoying another one by him. I'm eventually going to get to a point where I'm reading one series by him that was ended by him. But I did want to pick this one up. This one's a pretty big one, so I'm a little afraid. But I've heard really good things about this series, so I definitely want to pick it up here this year just to get me rolling, because I believe there's 2 other books out in this series so far. How about we finish up in the fantasy route with another book that I know absolutely nothing about, but I've heard a lot of good things about, and that's The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Literally know nothing about this other than it's a fantasy epic following one guy who does something somewhere with some people. I have no idea literally what this is about, but I've heard really good things about it. It's on a lot of top of lists, so I thought I'd pick it up, give it a try. What can it hurt? The last 2 books on this list, one is kind of in my normal genre and following the normal theme apparently of this video, where I know absolutely nothing about this book, and that is Dune by Frank Herbert. This is like a sci-fi classic that you have to read before you die, blah blah blah. Know nothing about it. I've heard of it, and I know there are movies and everything, but I thought I'd give it a try. This one's a little hefty too. But that, again, doesn't scare me as long as I'm interested in the book. So, and I've heard a lot of good things about this one. So I did want to give it a try. And then the last one, we're going to switch it up and go back to, a genre I don't hit a lot of. And this is nonfiction. I have actually read a few essays out of this book already, and I really enjoyed them. And that's why I feel like it was be something that I can finish this year and really enjoy and add to my total and get me out of this stranglehold, I guess, that fantasy sci-fi has on my reading life. And that is Outliers, The Story of Success by Malcolm Gladwell. This book is kind of like essays of why he believes certain people are very successful in certain areas, and he uses like scientific evidence. It's not like a psychological thing. It's like these are, facts why. I think it's interesting, even if, you may not agree with everything that he's saying in here, but I think it's an interesting concept just to look at, success is the outlier, kind of, pretty much. And it's why the outliers that are successful, it's not a straight model. It's an interesting, doing the essays I've read, it's really interesting. So I thought this would be something to get me out of my normal genre, but still something that I know I would probably enjoy. So that is my list. The next 10 books that I think I want to get through for the end of this year to reach my Goodreads goal. Let me know if you've read any of these books, if you've loved them, if you hate them. Give me a suggestion, which one do you think that I should start with? And I'm sorry that this video is not going to be edited, but this is just new to me. I'm trying to get the flow. So I figured I'd just post this one on all my mess ups and glories and see how it goes. And as I continue to grow and learn, I'll start to edit videos. But thanks for now, you guys. Again, don't forget to leave a comment below and just to let me know what you think I should start with, which ones you liked or hated. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.